Don't believe anyone has joined yet.
Besides, it's just Rusty and I.
Hey Kyle, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm gonna mute ourselves right now until the meeting starts, okay?
Sounds good, Lauren. Thank you.
Hi, Lauren, can you hear me in that room? I think you can, but maybe muted if you're trying to respond to me there.
Yeah, I can hear you, Jonathan. Can you hear us?
I can. I'm here in the office, but if we have a quorum issue in person, let me know. And I'm probably about 18 minutes away if I need to leave to head that
Yes, we
way.
need you to be here,
Yeah, Rusty believes we're gonna
please.
have issues. with
We only have 3 in person right now, and we need 5.
Oh, boy. Okay. Do we think we'll be able to get 5?
No,
We don't know,
if you can, we'll have 5.
maybe.
Wait, what? Why does it need to be in person?
We have to have a minimum.
We have to have 5 in person according to the electronic policy. It says we have to have 5 in person, 6
Yeah.
for a quorum.
Yeah, and 6 for.
Only have 11.
Okay.
I thought Mr. Bilkey was gonna be here in person, but he was getting online, so.
Um, well, let me ask this before I jump in the car and head that way. Are there
Yeah.
items that are going to require a,
The only things that are going to require a vote are the minutes from the last meeting, so those
Yeah.
are not critical.
Okay.
And then the LEPC roster updates. I don't know, Sean, is that critical if we can't do those this time?
I mean, we're already past that deadline, so not critical, but I mean,
So.
Does that mean
they just won't comply with the law.
Yeah, it's not critical, we just won't be complying with the law, but we're already past that compliance anyway.
what compliance?
On the roster updates.
Public records law, so like for
Bruce Palin said he would be here in person. If he said he'll be here, he'll be here.
when you do like any public meeting now, it has
I
to.
feel like he said he was gonna be here in person, but
When their term date ends, if there's a term date,
Okay.
who appointed them,
Jeffrey Larmore.
and
So I guess what you're asking, Jonathan, is it's probably the things that have to be voted on
a lot of them.
aren't that critical. So if you, I mean, if you're already 20 minutes out anyway, so
Put them in.
we can still have a discussion meeting, we just can't vote.
Yeah.
People cannot really officially participate in LEPC, right?
I think this is the first time I've been in one that we might not have enough.
Interference with the law, but I mean, they've been doing it.
Right, yeah. Well, I'm thinking about even like new people.
How many do we have there in person? Are we gonna have a quorum for the meeting itself?
At the moment, right now, we only have 3.
Yeah.
In person.
Okay.
And we'll have to have a minimum of 5 in person and an
Mhm.
additional member either online or in person as well. So 6 to meet. quorum.
Here's Bruce.
Hey, Bruce.
We're gonna Bruce.
So now we have 4 in person.
Okay, so I'll head that way. How's that?
Jonathan, thank you.
And if we want, we can start the meeting while I'm on my way. We just won't take any action until I get there.
Okay,
That sound okay? Sean, is that okay to do more of an administrative kickoff and then we'll take official action once we've got the 5 in person?
Yeah, you can always start it. and then-
Yeah, he said yes.
We have one
All right.
online.
Sounds good. I will be there shortly. See you all soon.
We have one online.
And I'll jump online once I get in the car. Okay?
okay.
Thanks. Bye.
We have
Look at
one.
me.
We have others online, right, Lauren?
You did the same thing I did.
Nobody for commission.
Hey, Bruce, how's it going?
Good.
So we're shy of online.
We're shy of quorum anyway.
Try to make it more exciting.
They may be waiting.
So
Dramatic.
so if Jonathan sits in his car here at May, does he count?
Is he in person and online?
I think it's both.
That's a good one.
Bylaws. We're anticipating that situation.
That's true.
I'm sure we can amend them to take care of that, though.
We did that during COVID.
Yeah.
It was before we had, so we went over.
All right.
Andy, can you mute yourself, please?
Apologies.
Due to the fact that the state fire marshal is at a fire marshal's conference in Biloxi, I'm not sure if that's a good place to be when it's this warm here or not, but it may be warmer there. And Clayton and his crew are at a conference in Danville. I have been assigned to be the chair in the case of the marshal not being here. First off, as the group that's here already knows, but we will be kind of starting the meeting here, so I will call the meeting to order as far as that goes. And then we're waiting for one more person to show up in person before we do any voting. So I'm not sure if we should really even do roll call yet because it won't count yet. Okay, all right. So we will, anything that has to take an action, we're going to kind of delay a little bit. So but there are some reports that we can give out. And so I'll actually kind of start with number 3 in the report of the chair. So the marshal did want to include, and in your packet is a list of some of the chemical spills and incidents in Indiana since from March to July. So one sheet thing that he sent out that he wants to start including in his reports. So as you can see, April 21, there was a hazmat truck explosion on I-65. I'm not going to read all the details as you can see them. On June 12th, 2025, there was a battery acid spill in Indianapolis. And then with the industrial chemical incidents, there was a chemical plant release with air pollution exemptions, 2 of them. And you can read the situation under those 2 releases and their exemptions. And then in July, there was a chemical leak in New Albany. And then there was an underground storage tank release in May of 28th. It was an airport fuel release. And not on this list, but added, Matt Wells made us aware, there was a fireworks, I think it was a warehouse of fireworks. They parked their riding lawnmower inside after using it. And it was not cooled down enough and it generated enough that it ignited some of the fireworks inside the warehouse. I can't remember now where it was.
It was over in Warwick County.
Warwick County.
Boonville.
So, and then also if you, on the news on August 7th, there was in Noblesville, there was an explosion at a water treatment plant that caused some issues. They had to do a shelter in place for a while, but then they did eventually release that. So those are some of the reports that he had given. Yeah, it was in Noblesville at a water treatment plant.
I'm just curious, what was released? Or what was the explosion?
I don't remember. The delivery person, had put the wrong chemical into the wrong tank. So 2 chemicals that were not supposed to be mixed were mixed and boom.
Okay.
Ooh, they didn't do that again.
Yeah, lesson learned. Hopefully. Hopefully.
I can pull it. I
I mean, we heard about the explosion, we just hadn't seen,
Yeah.
heard many
Yeah.
details on what actually caused it.
Yeah, Cage was the lead on that one.
So going up, and you may not know, Rusty, but the
That's fine.
chemical plant releases with air
Uh-huh.
pollution exemptions. So are those the, because to report to LEPCs or the CERC, you have the, like the reportable quantities,
Right.
but then there's also like the 24-hour emissions. So is that what these fall under? Would be that the facility had a 24-hour emission that exceeded the reportable quantity, and that's why they would have been reported to the CERC, or?
To be honest, I don't know, Jeff. I can get the report from the marshal.
I was just curious, I mean, because I didn't know if there was any particular, why this was included for us, if it was just an exceedance of an air permit versus if this was a reportable release to the CERC and to LEPCs.
It may have just been for informational purposes of him wanting to pass on.
Some folks will like a report as a precaution,
Right.
even though they're not required to, just to be sure they're covered.
Well, and then it talks about they received exemptions, and so I didn't know, really kind of like the ethylene oxide was a very interesting one, a highly toxic chemical. So we're to give them
I can
that.
tell you for the SABIC,
Yeah.
their most recent release was a phenol release, over the reportable quantity.
Of a single incident.
Yes.
Okay.
Single incident. The most recent one. I believe there has been several others, in the past.
Okay. Actually, I was just curious that when I saw those, how there was a notification for the 24-hour release versus something that's more immediate. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, to let you know, Melissa has been working on PowerPoints relative to LEPCs for instructional purposes, including screenshots, trying to make things easier for them. And there are 5 PowerPoints in total, and 2 of them are currently in or on the website. And then there are 3 more that are in PIO or review. Our process is when we're going to do anything for the website, we have to send it to our public information office and they review it to make sure before it gets approved. Sometimes that can take a couple weeks or more to do. But once those are done, then we'll be posting those on the website as well. And those should help with the LEPC to any information they need, an additional resource for them to help try to make their job a little easier anyway.
So when those get, like the 2 that are on the website, have you sent an email around to the LEPC? So the 2 that are currently on the website, have you sent an email around to the LEPCs letting them know of their availability?
No.
Okay.
Not
That
yet.
might be-
We'll do a release once all 5 are done, which should be soon.
I mean,
They're in paper form back here. If any of you want to view them, I brought one of each.
okay, good. That's what these are.
No, they're
No, they're back, they're
That's
back
fine.
in back. They're not part of your package.
Yeah, I mean, I picked one up
Oh, okay.
when I signed in. So I got it. Somewhere. So these are the 2 that are currently on the website.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, 2 of them, 2 of the ones that were back here are online right now on the LEPC webpage, and the other 3 are with PIO, like Rusty was talking about, being viewed to be put online. So I just brought them in paper form in case anyone wanted to view them. So I brought one of each, and they were on the table back there.
Oh, okay. So these are all different.
Yeah,
They're all.
Yeah.
different.
Yes,
They're different.
it's the 5 PowerPoints. She brought a copy of the 5 PowerPoints for review.
That's okay, I picked one up.
I'd like to report a theft.
Yeah, they're for.
Now I'm tracking. I was like, oh, that's right.
They're for the different reports, like Becky was requesting at the last
Yeah.
meeting. They've got a screenshot,
No, they're a
Instructions.
great idea. Yeah.
showing how to do the reports.
Well, I mean, just, it's communications to make sure that it's a great piece. It'd be super helpful, but it would be a shame if we didn't let the LEPCs know of its existence and push them out there, especially if there's anything that's kind of timely. We've got some deliverables coming up. And so if any of the PowerPoints are like focused on those deliverables, trying to get those out. So people,
We can ask to see if it's something that, IDHS wants us to send out.
I know the plan is coming up in a couple months. And I mean, some of those things have already passed. It looks like the bylaws and things like that.
Right. Yeah, it can be helpful. So yeah, we'll get some, check on getting some messaging out relative to the LEPC so they're aware of what ones are online and what ones are coming. Then we'll bypass the meeting minutes for now and the roster appointments for now. Those are voting items. So we'll bypass those until we get another member that is on his way. Then with the fiscal report relative to, unfortunately, the bad news on the fiscal report side is that with the budget restrictions and the budget cuts and stuff from the state, DHS at this point in time is not going to be able to assist with conferences and that kind of thing that they have in the past, including the hazmat conference that I think you had asked for that to be on the agenda. So at this point in time, that is not going to be able to support that $10,000 request. There's other conferences that the agency has supported in the past that are probably not going to get supported either just because of the budget situation. So
Will that be completely not supported at all, or is there like a lower amount of funding that could?
and that, the marshal didn't talk to me about it, a different level. He just said that we wouldn't be able to support that $10,000 request.
I just have a quick question. So
Yes, sir.
The $10,000 that would have gone to the iHammer conference,
Uh-huh.
is that tax money or is that tier 2 money?
No, I believe it came out of the tier 2 funds, didn't it? I think. I'm pretty sure it comes out of the tier 2 fund.
Yeah.
Because it comes to you guys, and that kind of thing. So it would come out of the tier 2. but it's still,
I know if the state looks at it.
it's still state funds from that perspective. So when looking at the budget situation and wanting the reversions and the savings, the agency made the decision not to support those kind of conferences at this time.
So the only PC, if we wanted to notify our facilities that, whose money this really is and let them know, you know, what's going on. And if they have questions or concerns, we could do that.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Lauren has an update relative to facilities. Go ahead, Lauren.
So far this year, we have collected $807,720. That's $155,700 collected more than last year, and $65,340 collected since last meeting. So far, we've had 6,768 2024 annual tier 2 reports submitted this year. 328 active facilities have not initiated this year's report. 17 active facilities have not completed this year's report, but have initiated it. And we've had 7 incidents that have occurred since our last meeting.
And I have not checked on the balance in the fund since the last distribution of funds. So I don't have that new balance relative to that into the fund as at this time.
Now, if we have active facilities that are listed as active,
Correct.
but they're not, they're holes in the ground. So
Right.
just contact you. But we've got a couple that are just going, they're not getting any responses back. So just let you know that,
Yep, just contact that. That's
And then-
there at TR2 or
Yeah.
reach out to me directly. I monitor.
but I mean, I know the Sarah Title III email and just say, this place doesn't exist anymore and we can't find anybody that will respond to our emails. Okay.
Miss Lauren does a very nice job of, she sits close enough to me that I can hear her on the phone. She does a great job of tracking people down and
Oh, yeah.
finding those funds.
And I think we're not in too bad a shape. We've got, where we're at right now, I think of the ones that are like from several years ago. And that's where we're finding, like, we've got a couple places that,
Correct, and most of this money that we've collected more from last year is combination of getting the ones that are have not been in compliance back into compliance, or if they're missing other reports in the past. So I've gotten through about a third of the counties, going through their facilities by hand, reviewing the reports, seeing if they were paid for or not, seeing what reports are missing, and contacting the facilities. So you may see at some point where a 2018 report gets done and you're confused as to why this is getting done now. It's because they didn't do it then.
exactly. So are there any counties that aren't able to, that there really is no infrastructure in that county to kind of catch the ones that haven't reported and are active?
That I have no idea of, because I can probably count 5 or less counties who have contacted me this year for assistance.
Well, that's
with it.
good then, right? So most of the counties have gotten back to you
No,
Oh.
only 5 or less.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Out of the whole state.
that have contacted you.
Yep.
Okay, that's not good.
Correct.
Sorry.
After last year, there was only maybe 10 or less that answered to my Excel spreadsheets that got sent out.
Yeah.
After that, we weren't doing it this year. I would contact them directly and get assistance from them, or vice versa.
Okay, that's a bummer. Oh, under, you know, would there be alternatives to like notifying, I mean, do these counties not have active LEPCs, most of them, or are they?
No, they have active LEPCs. Like I know yours is an active one,
Right,
and we've communicated a few times. Allen County communicated with me, Worth County, St. Joseph County. That's all I can think of off the top of my head, but they should be reaching out to the facilities first, then
Right,
notifying
no,
me
no, I was
like
thinking-
last year.
I mean, if we found maybe a fire chief or an EMA director, or somebody that's, I'm not sure if these just go to the LEPC chair, your correspondence, if maybe there was another point of contact within some of the counties that might be, I don't know, more, also receptive, but, pardon?
More engaged.
Yeah, I guess that's a good enough one. But I mean, you know, that they knew that there were facilities that were not submitting, and that cuts into their number of facilities that plugs into the equation. Maybe they might. Okay. No, I appreciate everything Lauren does very much. She's very helpful.
We're getting there slowly.
Yeah, I mean, and and every year it's like Groundhog's Day. I mean, you get new people and you start all over again. And
Yep.
What? Nobody told me. Bruce retired. Maybe on his way out, he said something about.
Something about, you've got to do something.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Kind of then moving down to the next items there relative to discussion. This kind of comes into play here with what we're talking about here. There was the item of what can be done legally to require facilities to be compliant. And Sean, I know we had discussed this. Sean, did you have anything you wanted to bring up relative to the compliance, what we could be done?
I mean, the strongest thing that can be done is individual, an LAPC or even IDHS as an agency or the commission can sue civilly. That's what's gonna have to eventually be the path taken if you really want to get them to comply. Those statutes are built into the IERC statute. Exactly what you did if you win, get attorney's fees and those stuff. And the notifications that you have to provide and the way that you have to file the suit. So that's your best course of action to actually get them to comply, other than. I'm bringing up a copy too. I don't know if you want to see it, but it's just all the statutes that show how the actions that can be taken. But it shows individuals, it shows
So can
state
they,
agencies.
so an individual private citizen,
Shows you how.
you get a copy,
I'll need a cup.
you need a copy. I'll give this back and you,
You can go make some.
um,
That's your best option.
you know, I've talked with our legal department and again, they're probably researching this right now, trying to figure out because, but again, it's having an attorney or having a legal team that has the time to get invested in this. And it's sometimes hard to find, especially, and then the courts and somebody's going to put in a lot of work for something. That's unfortunate. I mean, I wish there was a better way.
But it's the issue that the state law doesn't really have any penalties built into it technically they're in violation of state statute that requires them to have an LAPC. So, but I don't know of any provisions for, there's no enforcement or penalties, provisions in the statute for that.
Is the EPA and,
Right.
you know, what are they?
But they can fine them hundreds, if not thousands of dollars each day until they get in compliance. But I believe last time EPA said we wouldn't see that money, it would stay with the
Right.
EPA.
Right.
But they could be another resource to use, but it could take them, depending on, how much time they have, could take them a long time. If we give them hundreds of facilities.
Well, my impression is it seems like the EPA tends to, I mean, they do the ones that try to catch people's attention. You know, if you've got 15 companies that are in non-compliance, you go after the one that's got the biggest splash, and then you hope that the other 14 are like, oh, that happened, and so it could happen to me, and then it might cause 10 of the 14 to submit a tier 2, but yeah, it's like your point, there's nothing.
Well, I guess there are two different things. And one is, you're talking about the facilities being compliant in reporting, but also the LEPCs being compliant and being in existence. So I don't, you're talking about LEPCs, facilities. Oh,
I
okay.
mean, we'll see, and Tim Gablehouse is really good about sending out whenever there's a, EPA announces that they've, find somebody significant for not reporting. But again, it's not like they've got a team that's probably, this is high priority for
There's
them.
probably like one person for a region.
Yeah.
And so if there's other states that also have non-compliant facilities, will just be a number in their list of when they can get out to us. So at this point, it's usually me or the county calling and emailing somebody at the facility to give them.
I mean, one of the things that we're talking with our legal department about is, so our health department has the ability to issue tickets for non-compliance with certain ordinances, including our chapter 20, which is our hazardous materials ordinance. But really, it's just kind of like, if you're compliant with federal and state, you're pretty much in compliance. And if you're not in compliance with the federal or the state, then we have some language. And so that's what we're, because then we don't have to cite them, take them to court. I mean, if they don't pay, then we take them to court. But if they do pay, then, and they comply, then we kind of got what we wanted. Maybe, got a small penalty. They're not very big. I think the maximum our tickets can go is like $250. So it's.
Yeah, I don't think the penalty is very high for ours. I think it's like double the fee.
Yeah, it'll.
Well, and yours, I mean,
Not
they
very
also, the interest is
Yeah.
also something that you all can collect. But again, it's more just something other than just sticking Lauren on them or keep sending them nastier letters,
Yeah.
putting them on double secret probation.
That's right.
And I mean, I think the option for like an LAPC is you use your county attorney to get an action filed. I mean, you can, with an LAPC sue the individual facility operator, so.
And that's where my organizations, we're very fortunate. We have our own attorneys. So we're not going like to a county that doesn't, we've got just, one attorney for the county who's already, looking at some probably other things. And then do they have the bandwidth to take on more cases? Wish there was.
Okay.
Thank you for investigating. Appreciate that very much.
And also, we've had some discussion in the past, but it was on, could the legal funds be used to bolster the counties with dedicated hazmat teams? Was there more, Jeff, that you wanted?
Well, I think what we were there's the legal fund that we've talked about that grows.
Right.
When we don't fund, when there are LEPCs that don't get funded because they didn't meet all their deliverables, and that money goes to that fund, is there any way we could somehow use a portion of that funding to help support the hazmat teams that have sort of become designated regional teams? Like in our county, or probably some of the other larger counties where, we're supporting our two hazmat teams, Wayne Township and Indianapolis Fire Department, to maintain their readiness and knowing that they will also respond to outside Marion County. So we didn't know if there was a way to help support them. And like I say, what we've typically done, we've funded things that are more like for sustainment. Like we just bought IFD, some suits for their decon team because the suits they had were starting to expire. So we replaced those, and the suits that were expiring are now in their training cache. We bought Wayne Township a couple sensors that were about ready to expire, and bought them some calibration gas. And so we don't buy them like new equipment, but we try to help them in terms of maintaining the readiness for the equipment they already have. And so I know, when we spoke, and Chairman Jones, spoke about, recovering costs when there is an incident. I think everybody that I've talked to understands that, but it's like, what about the stuff that expires while it's sitting on the truck? How do we make sure that those teams have maintained that readiness to be able to respond? And so if we've got counties other than the county where the team is located that are kind of relying on, or have maybe even gone so far as written in these other teams from outside counties to support. And it sounds like, I think the fire departments, that's always kind of been their way of operating. It's like, if you need help, you call me and I'll come help, because someday I may need your help. And so that's kind of the idea. I don't think any of the fire departments are opposed to that, but it just, as money becomes tighter, and unfortunately equipment and supplies become more expensive, the fire departments, even the big department like IFD, I mean, they run a lot of different special operations. And so there's thoughts and pressures, and, IFD, I know Travis, by here, but in the past, IFD's looked at, can we support 2 level A entry teams? Can we support 2 decon teams? It's just it's a huge cost. And so again, if we've got a pot of money that, or some funding that, I'm not saying spend it all, but if we could spend portions of it to provide some support to the various teams. Again, they're kind of maintaining a readiness not only for their county, but a larger geographical area.
Sean, is that something from a legal perspective or is that more of a fiscal?
I mean, the statute says that the IERC can use those funds for hazmat preparedness and training. So I mean, it's gotta be given to the LPCs for those purposes, like if the IERC wanted to help fund those hazmat teams, I mean, it's a big enough statute where you voted on it and said, yes, we're gonna give that money to them. For those purposes, those two purposes, pretty vague. You can make it fall underneath that if you wanted to, pretty sure.
I mean, maybe we would create a system where the fire departments would directly come to the IRC.
You know, when I was thinking about this, and Chairman Jones may whack me for speaking out of turn, I don't know. But this may be my last meeting, so what are you gonna?
One more.
We have, with the schools, we have a common school fund that they can get a loan from, and they have to submit budgets. And so when I was thinking about through this process, is that something that the IRC would want to look at as having staff work on a procedure? And it would include not just, we want $20,000 for, but some detailed explanation as to what exactly it is that they want and what they're going to use it for. And then that could be presented, like that could be sent in to staff for them to review. And if there's something that the staff would think, we should probably get a little more information on this, and they could and the staff could do the legwork before the next IERC meeting, that it would be presented, and then that would be something that could be presented as so-and-so is asking for this, and here's the details as to the budget and how they got to that budget. Do they have quotes? Do they have whatever the circumstances would be? And a justification for why they're wanting the funds. Is that something that
I think that, if we had a process for vetting the request.
I can take that back to the marshal and see if he kicks me out the door or listens.
No, I agree. I think if you vetted the process and you had, maybe identified a approved equipment list. Again, I'm not saying how we do it in Marion County is perfect, but again, what we've tried to do is, we know the money is tight, and we're like, instead of buying new things that are going to increase your operational costs, let's try to make sure that your stuff that you currently have. Everybody would love to have
Drones.
drones, yeah. Or, a GCMS in the back of the truck, and it's like, but how about we get you some calibration gas so your multi-gas meter works? Or how about we, if your lamp's about ready to go out on your PID, we'll buy you a lamp.
Or booms.
Or booms, yeah. Or, maybe your suits are starting to, show their age, and, you don't have hazmat boots. Things like that. So again, we're not going to take you from a type 2 to a type 1 team, but we're going to make sure that you can stay a type 2 team or a type 3, whatever you're currently at.
Maintain items with an expiration date.
Yeah, that's, those are the big things, because for no fault of anybody's, these things just, you can't use them anymore.
Sure.
And so,
I'll run that past the marshal and say that we discussed that further. And if he wants to talk to you more, he can contact you outside
oh,
of
definitely, yeah.
the meeting and get some more ideas. But yeah, I think from what Sean says, it is a possibility. It's just like you said, we're trying to make sure that they don't ask for the moon and they keep it reasonable, but that would be up to the IERC then to decide if it's reasonable request or not.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you.
Okay. Then there was also, did Matt Bilkey get online? Oh,
Stephanie has her hand raised.
okay.
Stephanie, go ahead.
Hopefully this works. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Added to what Jeff was talking about, we don't have a hazmat team in our county, actually not very many down in District 10. And we rely on, it would be Vincennes or Evansville. And they had requested funding before to help supply what they need because there's not enough funding. So I would agree with Jeff if that becomes a possibility, we need to look into that because there's fewer and fewer teams out there to do what we need them to do, and we need to be able to help them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
No other questions raised.
Did Mount Bilkey come online by chance? Okay. The next one on is talking about how we can get non-participating counties active again with their LEPC. I know Russ and Matt had talked about it. I don't know if Russ, if you had any particular ideas or since Matt's not online, if you guys had a chance to talk about any particular ideas on how to get it, or if you just wanted it discussed.
No, sir. Honestly, I don't remember bringing that up.
Okay. All right then.
I was surprised to see my name attached to that. I think that may have been an error.
Okay, no problem. All right. Hello, sir. Okay, so I think
five, look at this.
this is perfect timing too, because I think I'm down to the last thing that we could discuss.
You handled that well.
Thank you. Good job, guys. Okay, so I guess Sean, we never really called a roll before because there was just discussion that we're good now that we can call a roll, right? Okay, Melissa, go ahead and call the roll, please.
I will do the-
Or Lauren, go ahead and do the roll, please.
Trustee Goodpaster,
Here.
Jonathan Whittem,
Here.
Stephanie McKinney,
Here.
Matt Bilkey. Matt Bilkey. Jeff Learmore,
Here.
Sean French. Sean French. Bruce Palin,
Here.
Aaron Sims. Aaron Sims. Travis McShane,
Here.
Myra McShane.
Here.
Okay, sounds like we have the 5 in person and we have at least the 6. So we do have a quorum for the meeting. So we are, as we had run down through the agenda on discussion items prior, that we now are to a situation of item number 4 on the agenda, where we can review an action on the May 12th to 2025 meeting minutes. You were supplied those minutes prior to the meeting. So does anyone have any changes, additions, questions regarding the minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Do I
Second.
have a second?
Second.
Who was that?
That's Travis.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. So Lauren, do roll call vote, please.
Trustee Goodpaster,
Aye.
Jonathan Whittem,
Yes.
Stephanie McKinney,
Yes.
Matt Bilkey. Matt Bilkey. Jeff Learmore,
Yes.
John French. John French. Bruce Palin,
Yes.
Aaron Sims. Aaron Sims. Travis McShane,
Yes.
Myra McShane.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. The next item is number 5, review and action on the LEPC roster appointments and removals. As you can see, they were supplied. There are 29 counties that had actions taken relative to the LEPC roster. And the updates, as you can see, Melissa put the report together of, you look through the different counties on if it was to make them active or to make the person inactive as it goes through the different counties. I don't have an actual number of actions it took, but there were 29 counties involved. I would suggest of accepting a motion to approve them in whole as opposed to going through each one or each county or that, but that is up to you. So I will take a motion to
Move to
accept them
approve all.
all as they are.
I'd move to approve all as are.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hey, Lauren, if you do the roll call vote?
Rusty Goodpaster,
Yes.
Jonathan Whittem,
Yes.
Stephanie McKinney,
Yes.
Matt Bilkey. Matt Bilkey. Jeff Larimore,
Yes.
John French. John French. Bruce Palin,
Yes.
Aaron Sims. Aaron Sims. Travis Duchesne,
Yes.
Myra McShay.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. And then, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I should know this, but I don't, and hopefully Sean does. So we said that we were behind on updating these. How often are we, or how often is this supposed to be happening so that we can make sure that we are compliant or that the LEPCs are compliant?
So I'm blanking on the exact law that went into effect, but July 21, there's a new open door law for the roster for people that are LEPCs, basically any state agency or local government. And this is just bringing that into compliance. IERC is supposed to approve or remove LEPC members, all LEPC members, and that hasn't happened since May 21.
May 2023.
2023. So it hadn't happened for years. So that's.
Cleanup operation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And now we're cleaned up.
Ones that have.
Only.
For the ones that. Yes.
We do have more counties that have submitted
Mhm.
updates, but they were after the point where I could process them because it was just like at the end of last week.
Okay, so we'll do another one of these at the next meeting.
We'll have them all.
Okay, great.
So how do you determine the date effective? Is that a responsibility of the LEPC, or is that something that we?
Are you talking about removal of a member?
No, I was just like, I mean, we have people that are on our LEPC, that have been on our LEPC for a long time. And so you guys, for most of our record keeping, pretty much to tier 2 manager, and then we had the roster where we put people from a kind of just a paper roster to tier 2 manager, where now it was kind of tracked. Is that
If
you?
you don't have an approval from the IERC for the person, for a LAPC member, you need to get one. So if they've been a member for a long time, but there is no like official action for this new law, you need one.
No, I understand that. And like I said, we have several people that have been on our LEPC for,
And they were approved when they got put on.
yeah, I mean, back in.
You're talking about, does effective date here show when the first time they ever became active on the LAPC, or is it
Right, I mean,
based on some of
is it on us to find
the effective date
or do you track the effective date based on when it was in tier 2?
when it was approved?
LAPCs are the ones who have been giving me the dates, and those are the dates that I put into the list. Okay, so, and Sean had just said that we needed updates from May of 23. So anything before that, I assumed we did not need.
If the LAPC has an approval date from the IERC before the last one that we were doing, then that counts. But they had, for the new statute, like they have to be able to put when their effective date was on the roster. So if the LAPC doesn't know when that member was approved by the IERC,
We don't.
then you probably need to get them reapproved. Unless you can go. back
Understood.
to-
And so I guess I will do like, I noticed a couple counties or one county in particular, they just said July 1st for everybody.
If-
And I'm
you
guessing
guys just
that's what
approved that, so.
Well, I mean, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're,
Yeah.
literally, I've been on the LEPC since 2000. And I know there are people in our LEPC that were on it before me. So, I mean, that's why I say how far it goes back. And
If
then
you don't have the record, I would say you'd have to get new.
We'll just
approval.
guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Guess it's fine. Guess is easy because it really doesn't change it.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, so what kind of what you're asking, it needs to be an on-paper approval from the IRC. You have to have that actual approval to be able to put an effective date down on paper according to the statute. So you
the
just,
new statute,
yes.
because for many LEPCs, when tier two manager went live, it was like, oh, this is easy. You go into tier two manager, you put roster, proxy, you put it on there, it generates a list, goes for the IRC, they approve it. And that's how we did business.
Somewhere along the lines, that's the.
Yeah, I know, I understand, exactly. So now I'm trying to, because ours is one of the counties that didn't do this because we had some questions about how, but now I know how to deal with the date effective.
Yeah.
We'll get that sorted.
If you can't find an approval for a member, I would just resubmit it. And
Well, we never got an approval from the state.
then you probably need to reapply.
Yeah, we put our name on the tier two and are on to tier two manager and that was it.
We've approved rosters in the past.
Pardon me?
We have approved rosters in the past, changes. The IRC has, so it's just, I'm not sure the IRC sent notification back, said, at this meeting, we approved so-and-so.
No, I mean, and I didn't know.
There's a process in the rules.
Yeah.
And
No, I'm glad. I mean, it's just, wasn't sure. Like I say, I wasn't sure if you guys were pulling effective dates from tier two manager. So if I put in an effective date and Melissa looked at it and said, well, wait a minute, you put 2/8/2024 and we had a different date for these guys. So I now understand. We'll be compliant.
So in the future, will we, for these that we've approved today, will we only be approving changes or do we have to reapprove the entire roster?
you only have to approve it again if person leaves, persons get added on. So once they're approved for as long as they stay on the
Okay.
LAPC. And then once they're removed, the LAPC has to send in this person's gone and they're
Right, and-
approved for removal.
That's what I'm familiar with in the past. We only approved changes,
So
people
where,
leaving and new people coming on.
so where does this date effective data live? Does it live in tier two manager or Has Connect?
Yes, and I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious, I mean, because if somebody's gonna go back and ask a question about when was Bruce, what was his effective date? And I retire next year and I'm the one that knows when Bruce's effective date was, but we don't capture it anywhere. Then how would we, who's gonna, is that gonna be a feature of Has Connect? Mount or, just add another column?
It's in the minutes,
But it's,
the minutes that you turn in, the meeting, it goes off and comes on your vote.
right. But who's gonna go through all those minutes, Becky, from Morgan County's LEPC? And sort out,
They were.
okay, I support that. But no, I was just curious if there's like a, next to the proxy, next
I
to
don't
the,
actually have an answer for you right now, but after I get online and look at it, I'll see if I can find an answer for you and email you.
Okay. I mean, it seems like if we're gonna, because that's kind of the record that sits along with that particular LEPC member, if there was a way to have their effective date.
I mean, I know for a fact that right now the roster lists the person's name, their email address, their phone number. I don't know if it listed another section, the date that their name was entered into the system. That's something I would have to look at because it would probably be in a report section possibly, but not on my main page that I normally look at. So
Okay, yeah,
I'll have to look for it and find an answer for you.
And I don't want you to get too confused, but like, it has to be the IRC approval, not just when they get entered into this.
Okay.
So like, say you
Right.
have been on forever. If you weren't originally approved by the IRC, but you're in the system, you're not approved for this new statute, so you would need to get approved now.
No,
And-
yeah.
And I feel like gonna be a lot like that. Because if you can't find a recording of when it was approved, you can go back in the IERC minutes and try to find it whenever that was. That's probably what's gonna have to happen.
Things were real loose back in
Yeah.
the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was a piece of paper and I, emailed it to Ian and like, this is our roster and that was kind of how things.
I mean, it may not hurt to just send the paperwork in just to be on the safe
Well, no, I mean,
side.
we're gonna do this. I mean, we're gonna go through our list but again, I was kind of like, what are we using for the effective date? Just to make sure that we were somewhat trying to meet this spirit of the.
Effective date is when the IERC approves.
And is that, we may have just said this at some point in the last 5 minutes, but what is the point of the effective date? What are we trying to accomplish with that?
It has to be put on the rosters now for LEPCs, for like your open door meetings. There's new requirements for what all has to be listed for the person, so it has to be their term beginning date, and then if there's an end date, it has to be on there. If there is no end date, it just has to be like, for some reason, that's what got added in this new statute was term dates.
That explains why you're asking for what our effective dates were for appointments to these.
So if somebody goes, like so if the public goes to the IRC website, clicks on the Marion County LEPC, Melissa, do they see the roster? Will they see can they see the rostered members on the IRC website? And if they did, that means
your
the
proxy.
effective date needs to
Oh, the
appear
proxy.
in that individual's name, or is it just the fact that internally we know that they've
It's not
been approved? And
It's not applicable to you. Let's see here.
kind of like John's point about, what are we using this effective date for?
Because if it's a local county board,
Mhm.
they may or may not have a term, correct?
That was start date.
But if it was a start date, but they may not have an end date.
Yeah, and that's almost all of the LEPC people won't have an end date.
Right.
Unless they don't.
So,
Basically, just we're satisfying a statutory requirement.
Yeah.
That's the short answer. It has no real meaning other than to satisfy the
Right, and
statute
make sure that the people that are sitting.
that
on
are
the LEPC
approved
Have been,
people.
have been approved.
Right.
So if I send my list.
You can provide the list and put a new date for all of
I can't
them.
put a date.
Well-
Because the effective date will be whenever like we just voted on, so
Oh,
all
okay.
these people that are on this list, their effective date becomes
Today.
August the 11th. And so the effective date,
Yeah, they have a, I think it's like a temporary effective date. Whenever they send in the letter, the marshal signs it. That's their temporary effective date. And then you get your effective date when you're voted in by the IRC. So you're technically a member the day that the marshal gets the letter and signs the preliminary letter. And then the IERC votes on all of those.
so another.
So that's why the provisional letters are sent. So the LEPC sends in the request, then we send back provisional letters of approval for appointments or removals. And then after the IRC votes on at the next meeting, then you get the final letters of approval.
Yeah, so like if you're saying that all those people that are submitted at the end of last week, the marshal signs that letter, they can vote in their next LPC meeting, even if it happens before the next IERC meeting.
Got it, okay. And you're looking for a letter from each person and not just a list of people,
Correct.
so everyone gets a. Good to think.
sounds like an extremely government process.
Yeah, it's very bureaucratic.
Marshal.
I hate it.
I have a very,
You can
I
get
have a very large spreadsheet that
signers
proves
or-
that.
He's signing each one individually.
Oh my God.
I love it.
He has cramps in his hand.
I mean, surely I wrote my stamp.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, I believe if someone voluntarily resigns from LEC, they don't have to fill out that.
Yeah, it's only if they're removed.
Oh. Okay, so if I remove, somebody just resigned, or information coordinator, I don't need to send a letter from him. Just remove him from
Yeah,
the.
it's only if you as an LEPC are requesting to remove that individual. So hopefully that wouldn't happen.
You know, and this is kind of along this line. Is it a federal requirement that they have rosters and that the IRC, or just a statutory state statute thing? Okay.
For part of the open door law.
Yeah, it was just in the open door law update.
Okay.
Kind of, like he was saying, new box added to the roster.
Probably for any entity that's subject to the open door
Mhm.
law. So that would be any county board, any state board, council, commission. Yeah. And then we as an IERC, as the IERC are not really appointing people, right? We're
Yes.
approving the appointment of
Yeah, they're
rosters.
appointing their members
Yeah,
We're approving our
and we're
appointment.
approving that appointment.
which again is maybe a layer of government we get out of, but
It is doing that.
Well, I think
We're
that,
always supposed to be approving the like the LEPC members, and somehow that just got out of the process.
Yeah.
Here, but it wasn't a big deal because it wasn't required to be in those open door documents, but now it has to be there for the public record. That's new statute.
so presumably any LEPC could, at their next meeting, could say, all right, we're refreshing everybody's terms. And your effective date for the LEPC is September 1st, 2025.
Yeah, or they go back and look in the IRC minutes and see.
Be a lot easier to just refresh everybody's.
Yeah, they wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's our suggestion.
well, I don't even know if
Martin's
we,
not gonna like that.
Marcia's gonna have a lot to sign.
I don't know, in years past,
Okay.
I don't even know if we.
Make sure it's recorded that Jonathan's.
I mean,
I was not here
Well,
at
I
that
think
time,
we
so I
just
can't.
approved-
Well, we approved lists. We did roster approvals.
But that was just a list of the counties. It wasn't, was there individual people on it?
Yeah, it showed the individual names and
Yeah,
their
May,
affiliation
Like-
and,
like she was saying, we went back May 2023 was the last thing I could find in the.
yeah,
No, I'm going back to like 20.
2000.
You're going back to four computers?
Yes.
We used an abacus just to keep track of everything.
Yeah.
Used to do it, he used to make you guys do it every single year. So like the roster, I feel like he would make you guys do it in like July. He would make essentially every LEPC re-roster.
And we would
And that
send in our
would-
letter.
Yeah, and that's when you guys would get that big,
Yeah.
a big hunk. And then it would get reduced, like each meeting, there would be like small changes, but.
No, I understand. And if there is somewhere where computers, because they track everything by clock time, and if it somehow
File
approves.
like making its way around, there's a file cabinet with all those documents in there.
Well, if you need Marion County, I have a file cabinet. with it. Okay, well, thanks for the explanation. Explain it to my group.
I'd like to say something too, if I can right
Yes,
now. I've been on for a while too, and the, IERC always had a list of changes that the county sent in, and you would approve them. Now, there was a time when there was some dissension, 2 years back, and it was because when is that person really a voting member of the local emergency planning committee? Is it when they're appointed and approved by the committee, which should be in the minutes? And if there's a gap there and the IRC is not going to meet and approve it until next month, are they really a voting member?
Based on
And
what-
that's,
yeah. It sounds like they are, until we may take official action from,
I think the interpretation is now that they are, once that is done, they are temporarily approved until the IRC, so that they can be a voting member until the next IRC meeting.
Okay, all right.
Anything else on that subject? All right, and the last is public comments. Do we have anybody sign up for public comments? Okay, go ahead.
I'm Becky Waymeyer from Morgan County, LEPC. And in case anybody has seen me and talked to me, I want you to know, I came to this meeting today with my war paint. No, I fell, I tripped, or
Oh, no.
rock garden, fell on some rocks, banged up myself quite a bit. So anyway, got bruises everywhere. So anyway, what I wanted to say was, I want to thank Melissa. A big thank you to you, because she is now putting out guidance for us of what we need to do for these 7 different things that we turn in. And it's really, really, really a big help, really. And I think it should make some uniformity. Y'all to work with too. Maybe bring in new counties that's not doing it, because you say, well, look here, we have these things that you can follow. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you.
My name is Madison Rowe. I'm a technical program manager at NCAMP. Before I went to NCAMP, I worked with you guys. I sat as a staff member for the CERC. I had a couple questions that my customers were bringing to me, so I just kind of thought I'd come to you guys. We deal with about 102 different organizations across the country. We report about 28,000 tier 2 reports across all 50 states and Puerto Rico. So we kind of hear it all. So it's just easier to come and talk to people sometimes. One of the things we were hitting an issue with is the back reporting. We are being contacted about reports that are from 2015 and 2016, which is the early stages of HasConnect. We're running into an issue where I think the exemptions come from HasConnect implementing those facilities into tier 2 manager for us, because IDHS only took over reporting for this in 2016, which would have been 2017. So I worry that going all the way back to 15 and 16 it's probably paid somewhere. There are probably a paper documentation somewhere, but we don't have that information because we transferred over at that same time. And I'm also just kind of confused because EPA only requests facilities to keep information back 5 years. So going back past 2020, even maybe 2018 to get through I think legal statutes usually say like 7 years is a good time. Going back into so far, these positions are so overturned, which we all know that this isn't information they have. So when we go and report in 2015, you're getting 2025 data. It's not from then. It's just essentially us coming back and paying, which we can do. We can continuously do. We appreciate that it goes back into the LEPCs and fire departments. All of our customers are very aware where that money goes. So they do like putting it in, but we just kind of wondered, where does this go? Like, should we keep doing this? Is this something that we should maybe talk about not doing? So there was that issue. And then another thing that we noticed is when we have a new location open federally and Indiana state regulations require that we submit a 311 report within 90 days of opening that facility. We recently did that for one of our customers, and then that requires you to put an update into the tier 2 manager system. We were told to then inactivate that facility because it causes a gap in, they said it was a gap in the data because it looks like it didn't report, but we are federally required to submit that information. And we think going back and then making it inactive kind of defeats the purpose of letting the LEPC and the fire department know, hey, this facility open, it has chemicals on site. But if we do that, then automatically make it inactive, it becomes blank for those LEPCs and fire departments, or it looks inactive. It looks like it opened just to close. So we just had those couple issues I wanted to bring forward and see if I could get some help on maybe answering some questions for them.
So I have a question. I mean, so does the IRC, do we have the ability to be able to say, each year, if it's 5 years or 6, whatever, that we would have the ability to be able to say, well, we're not, this is it, anything that's prior to that. I just don't know, what would we do with it on tier 2 manager? Would we just inactivate it? Or would we?
So for the current reporting year, any facility that's currently active and who has not submitted a 2024 annual tier 2 report is automatically put on a non-compliant list. It reports that. So in regards to your question about the update, because it's active, it puts you on that list. And so we recommend putting you inactive so you get off that list. You're off that list temporarily. And then when the next reporting year comes up.
I just don't understand how the LAPC and the fire departments then get access to it. Cause then doesn't it essentially blank out on their side?
At least on the LAPC side, they have the ability to go in and click on the inactive facilities and review any reports. I don't know about the physical fire department, but I have spoken with an LAPC and they have the ability to review that.
Our customers just really worried about like opening a facility and then immediately making it look closed, because they do have, like, they don't have like a ton of chemicals, but it's a pretty common named facility, like,
But I mean, they're in operation.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so
they
they're-
opened in May, so
and so
they did
they're-
everything they were.
They're in business.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting chemicals delivered, they've got chemicals on site, and so if a fire department looked at it, it would say inactive. And so what is the message that it's telling the fire department? It's saying, I mean, if it said inactive to me, it would be, oh, they're not in business anymore. There's no chemicals.
When I can go look at the reports, it will tell them if it's out of business, reporting exemption, or location change. I would have to reach out to the fire department and see what they can see on their side, but
Okay. Which is different than what an LEPC can see. So when I look at a facility and it says inactive, I mean, it's, again, it's, does it mean it's inactive, or it's just,
it's just one of those three reasons. They're either reporting exemption, out of business, or location change. That's what the user has to pick one of those three options.
when they change from
It's
active to inactive?
Inactive, correct.
But I guess the other question Madison spoke of though was this, we got these facilities, like I said, I've got ones that go back to 2016, 2015. And so if they are still in business and they've just gotten by this long, is it the
What's the
RFC?
statute of limitations on going back, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Depending what you're-
Yeah, I mean,
what
how
your
far can we
question
go
is.
back? I mean, there's a couple.
They are reporting. They are like consistently reporting. A lot of ours have submitted all the way up until this year. It's just like they're now getting contacted about reports that might have been submitted in 15 and 16, but they're active now.
Right, no, I understand that, and that's why
Yeah.
because that's on my list, so
Yeah.
I'm going through my list and I've got a few that go back that far, and so I was thinking that, yeah, we'll just tell them, hey, you didn't report, and then they'll go in and they'll report, they'll pay their fee and any interest that's owed or whatever, but I guess the question is, can we really go back that far? And if we can't, does it become in Has Connect where at some point in time, we basically, they drop off the non-compliant list that LEPCs are out there trying to, beat the bushes to get back into compliance. So I don't know if that's something we can do, or,
That might be a legal question. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know if we have that authority to be able to say, or like say, if there's a statute of limitations where we can only go back so many years to try to recover costs, because, yeah, knowing what their hazardous materials inventory in 2016, it's not helping the LEPC. Now, it may help the consultants that are going back doing, due diligence on phase one. Well, I know, but there's a different set of consultants out there making bread and butter, going back and looking at thousands of years of records. But no, I'm just curious. I mean, again, I would like and I know my LAPC would like, that's one of the things they ask me every meeting is, have we cleaned up our non-compliant list? And I'm like, well, we're still waiting on Ford over on English Avenue. And Diamond Chain, which is, so anyway.
So is this an internal, we're decided to do this, or is this Has Connect, or is this like an automated
It seems like
notification,
to me this is an
non-compliance?
issue that has connection, correct, or fix.
At this point, it was internal due to the cleanup where there's several facilities currently active, have been closed for several years, where there's gaps in several years or a gap in reporting where there wasn't a report physically entered into Has Connect at the time. And because they didn't enter the report, we didn't collect money for the report for that county.
Okay. So I think there's probably a couple questions that we can work with Sean on for the next meeting, which would be, is there, do we have some sort of requirement as the IERC to clean up non-compliance back to a certain date, or do we have discretion? My guess is that we have some discretion. And then to me, that would be a policy decision for us to say, we're going to, you know, we have the authority, or we're going to exercise our authority to go back 3 years or 5 years for non-compliance and to collect those fees. So I think we'll figure out if we have to do something or if we just can do something for those non-compliant reports. And then we can come up with something moving forward so that facilities know.
I guess I'd be interested in knowing on the other issue, whether the LEPCs can see the reason somebody is inactive or not. Because that would make a difference.
I don't really look for that, but I don't recall it like jumping out at me. The reason why it's inactive, I just see active versus inactive. And that's,
We can test it out and
okay.
And I want to clarify, are there facilities that are currently housing chemicals or hazardous materials that should be part of this report that are showing as inactive?
So, yeah, so they essentially opened in May and the federal requirement, you have to report within 90 days. So when Indiana took that, we assumed it was 90 days for Indiana as well. So we threw them into the system within that time. But they don't really fall into the reporting year 2024 because they weren't open yet. So they are active. They have chemicals. They're planning to report this coming year. They just wanted to keep the front side active as well.
So in 2026,
Yes,
it would
they'll
switch.
report for 25.
Yeah.
And that's when they'll become active, which is fine. I just worry that like having them inactive in this gap
Yeah.
of time.
They're inactive because they're not required to report for 2024, which is why I think it'd be important for the LEPCs to be able to see the reason why they're inactive. Because being inactive because you're not required to report doesn't mean you're not in existence and need to be aware of them.
Seems like House Connect should maybe create a separate category.
Yeah.
Well, so there is a separate section. It's called a like, when you look at it, it's got like a 311 report option. But it requires you HasConnect then requires you to do that 25 update. So that's why it looks almost like they skipped a report because you see that update, you don't see an annual. But like that was how we built out HasConnect. The 311 was supposed to update the tier 2, so that's why it requires it to happen. Because it's supposed to happen any change, anything.
Well, I guess if they can't see it, is there a way to make it so they can, is the other question. I mean, if it's just a programming access issue or what data they're provided at the LAPC level, if that can be added in.
The chemicals information on the active, we just don't know that it's an active facility.
Right.
So, yeah, if there was a way, hate to create another category, but it'd be like an active, inactive. I mean, it's active, but it's inactive because it's not
required to report.
Yeah. So active, exempt from report.
Right.
Something like that. Or, I mean, that would be a short-term thing, right? Are there facilities they're just exempt? I got it, right? Here.
Yeah, if they're exempt, they don't report anything.
You shouldn't.
Should.
So
All
then
of some
they shouldn't-
facilities do.
Then they shouldn't be in the system anyway, right?
Right.
So,
Well, you'll have like some in there. So like the farmers, a lot of them report still, but they're exempt. Or like any of like your sister agencies. So like NDOT has to report all of their locations, they're exempt, those kind of things.
Well, they're exempt from payment, but
Yeah, they're not exempt from reporting, so they still look.
we'll look into that too with HasConnect. Because if I saw inactive, I'd think, don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
moving on, looking at the next active facility, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that you know what's happening in the system, that's one thing, but even some of us in the room are trying to figure that out, right? We should be the ones that like this stuff. Good. Right?
Maybe.
Okay.
Any other public comment?
We have a, Stephanie that we would like to ask a question.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
Hi, it was asked at one of our District 10 or DPC meetings. One of the counties, the LAPC chair was told that they had to, when they held their meetings, they had to, let's see, what did my notes say here? They had to do a live feed of their meetings, that it was required. Is that correct or not? Because unless it's in their bylaws, they don't have to, do they?
I think there is there not a statute that came out that required live feed on meetings?
I believe so, but we're not getting legal advice for LEPCs.
I mean, is this to your knowledge, but is this a county board requirement? As far as communicating?
So most public meetings now have to be live streamed.
Okay.
Those state public meetings or any public meeting.
Public meeting.
Any public meetings. Okay.
Did you hear that, Stephanie?
That's a new,
All public meetings have to be live streamed?
have to have a live stream option.
Last time I heard, we were made a county board.
Still subject to that requirement.
Yeah.
So it covered it. I mean, it's part of the, like say the.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing on our end, that all of our meetings are required to be public as well.
Well, I know our meetings are public because we have to post them and follow the same rules, but I didn't know about live stream. And if it is supposed to be live stream, where can we find that?
No.
You probably have to talk to your local IT person to get that set up for you, but that is a requirement. You have to have a live stream available.
So it sounds
Where
like a new-
where is that requirement found?
Yeah.
Is it in the Indiana code? Is it in IAC? Is it where is that
Indiana.
written that we
I
have?
believe
to
that
do
was a requirement they made during COVID, so you'd have to go back and look at the statute that was changed then.
Well, we have options for doing it Zoom meetings or if somebody wants to remote in, but not live stream the entire meeting. That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, the Indiana Code 514-1, 52.9. New statute effective July 1st, 2025. Requires certain local and state Indiana entities live broadcast all public meetings, keep copy of recorded meeting, and archive those meetings on the website from outlets. The 90 days month, other requirements. LEPCs now come under that.
So not only do we have to live stream it, but they've got to record it and then put it on a website somewhere.
For 90 days.
For 90 days.
Mhm.
And if they don't do that, they're in violation by open door.
Mhm.
And so what was that code again? 514 dash.
It's the open door law. They just made an update to the statute.
Oh, okay. Well, I can find that. All right. Thank you.
Anything else for the good of the order? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do a roll call for approval of the motion and the second for adjournment, please.
Rusty Goodcasper,
Yes.
Jonathan Whittem,
Yes.
Stephanie McKinney,
Yes.
Matt Bilby,
Yes.
Jeff Larimore,
Yes.
John French. John French. Bruce Palin.
Yes.
Aaron Sims. Aaron Sims. Travis Tuchain,
Yes.
Myra McShane.
Yes.
Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Green
everybody.
County LEPC got a website last year.